What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Four Wheel Drive Trek, where I am building some pretty awesome and crazy vehicles. 2012 Jeep Wrangler, 40-inch Milestar tires, 1-ton truck axles, and it's set up for basically rock crawling and pretty much going anywhere. And I got my 1966 Ford Mustang, not quite stock, swapped in a Ford modular motor into this guy, and the biggest one of them all, my 37-foot school bus that I have flatbedded in the rear, and I'm currently renovating on the inside to be a full RV to take all my vehicles and go have fun. We are taking a break off of all that, and we are going to be working on this 2004 Dodge Ram. I don't know about you guys, but the front rake is absolutely horrendous on this thing from factory. Most trucks are, most SUVs are, and that's just how they come. The main reason for this rake is because if you're loading up this back here with a whole bunch of dump runs or whatever you're doing, this is going to sag down a lot more, and it's supposed to be when this is fully loaded, the entire thing is level. For me though, I don't ever haul enough in this bed other than some gravel about 5 minutes away from my house, and I'm not really towing much in here for now. But if you are like me, this video is to level out this front end, make it sit level, and make it look just a little bit better. Or maybe you want some bigger tires to throw on here. Since this will require a full alignment after everything is done, I did opt to get a whole bunch of new ball joints, tie rods, and everything to kind of refresh that front end. Starting off with basically the main part of the video is going to be these spacers right here. These guys are going to sit on top of the coils and kind of just create that lift with that spacer there. Along with that, you can use your stock shocks, however they will blow out pretty quickly and the ride will be pretty rough. So got ourselves a set of new shocks for the front, and we also got new shocks for the rear. And if you guys stick around to the end of the video, we'll be seeing how I'm doing all this as well. I got a new pitman arm, got new tie rod ends, got 2 ball joints, and the upper control arms with the ball joints, and then of course the ends for those sway bar end links. One thing to note, while you do have to do an alignment, you don't have to do all the front end refresh if you don't want to. I'm just doing it because I'm down there, everything is kind of old, 150,000 miles, and I might as well do it anyways. So if you have torsion springs, basically look up underneath here, and if you don't have a spring you can see, those are going to be torsion springs. It's going to be a little bit different. This video is not going to be for you. But if you look up underneath there and you do see some coils underneath there, then this video is going to be for you guys. And it's not specifically to Dodge. It is pretty much anything that has those front coils on there. First thing I got to do is definitely lift up that front end with a jack and then supporting the frame from underneath. That way you can pull the wheels, tires, and start working on this thing. Dang, I did not realize just how bad the alignment was off on this thing. It's almost like a racing slick on the inside, and the outside has barely been touched. Good thing I'm doing this and getting a new alignment, and definitely a good thing I'm getting those new tires. That's borderline dangerous right there. Hopefully at this point you've already decided whether you're going to be doing the same front end refresh that I am. As you can see, these are supposed to be rubber bushings right here that are completely roasted out, and because I saw that, I decided I'm going to be doing both ball joints, upper and lower. The control arm and ball joint is one unit, and because I'm also again up in here anyway, might as well do the tie rods as well, since the alignment is going to be pretty much aligning everything anyway. Might as well do it all once and not have to worry about it later. So what I'm going to do is throw a jack underneath here right before I start pulling off some of these ball joints. The spring shouldn't have a lot of tension in it. It should be pretty well loose, but you know, just in case, safety first. To get the sway bar to lift up on itself, you will have to disconnect both sides of the sway bar end links to be able to get it to lift up. The purpose of the sway bar is to make it so things don't be uneven, and obviously you got to take a bolt off to make it even to go up. Now the next spot is to start taking off this tie rod underneath here. Best thing to do is take that nut off, leave a couple threads still on there, and give the side of the whole thing a big old smack. Not the side of the tie rod, but the side of where the tie rod is bolted into. If you are like me and you're going to be replacing them, then you can smack up underneath. It will mess up the threads, but we're not going to be reusing them. But if you do plan on taking these and reusing them, do not smack the bottom of it to knock it out. With this now free of the tie rod and all that, it is time to take off this upper ball joint. If you do not have it supported when you take this ball joint, in theory, this spring could have some tension and it will push the bottom control arm down, so it might pop out on you. So just something to keep in mind. That's why I have mine secured. Also, these up here, they might be a little bit preloaded, so if you tap this free and it pops up a little bit, totally fine. I will be replacing all this with it, so don't have to worry about that right now. But for now, we take this guy out, same method, pull the nut off, leave a couple threads on the nuts, and then give that side a huge smack. So yeah, you probably should support that the steering knuckle or the entire basically hub assembly before lowering that spring. I didn't do that, and it definitely put some strain on the brake cables. It's no big deal right now because I didn't put too much on there, but once you start kind of pulling on that, you'll see in a minute, to get the spring out, it's good to kind of support that a little bit more. For me personally, I am going to be dropping off this bottom ball joint here. This is one of those optional things. If you want to do, you can. It is a castle nut, so you got to pull a cotter pin out, pull the nut off, and then do the same thing, knock that ball joint out. So then this thing will be completely free, and I could just do a new ball joint. With that up and out of the way, it is time to start pulling all this stuff off. Again, that is optional if you want to do that. What I'm going to do is now press down on this and be able to pull that spring out of place, pull the shock out, and get everything out of here. Then up underneath here, we do have the 2 bolts holding the shock on. That guy's going to drop out from underneath. I should have room. And then we just start reassembling everything back in that same order. Getting these lower ball joints out, it is a good idea to get yourself a good snap ring plier. Pretty much put it in there, open up the ring, pull the ring out, and then we're going to use a ball joint press to get this guy out of here. You can rent a ball joint press at your local auto parts store. They are pretty expensive to buy. And then we'll press this out and then press in a brand new ball joint for the bottom. Put that little C-clip back on, and then you should be done with that lower ball joint. Now that that is all done, we're going to switch gears and we're going to tackle this upper ball joint. This guy up here, we got a flag bolt up here and then a nut on the other side and a bolt that goes all the way through. So pretty simple on that one. Just kind of get them out and get the new ones right back in, and then all new control arm up top, including that ball joint. To get the spring spacer in, it will be a little easier if you have a second pair of hands to help you out, get a buddy to help you, or like me, you can just kind of press on the bottom as best you can, hold the spring cup or spacer up in place, and then just shove that spring up on in there. And then once you get that in, what I did is just jack it up just a little bit just to hold it in place. With the lower one now bolted up, it is time to just jack it up until I can get that upper control arm ball joint into the top of that knuckle. Pretty easy, just kind of jack it up, line it up, so you can get it in. With the steering knuckle back on, tighten up the bolts underneath, we can go ahead and drop the jack and see where it sits, and then at that point we can throw in the shock. I don't know if I'll be able to get the shock in from underneath, didn't think about that beforehand, so I'll have to compress it, put it in, and then uncompress it. Pretty easy, shock goes back in, bolts up top up here, bolts at the bottom, just like the same way we took them off. And then this front side is pretty much done. Then of course, don't forget the rear shocks. We got this guy here behind the axle, and then this one up here in front of the axle. Pretty easy. 2 bolts in the rear, on the bottom, one on the top, and just swap them out super duper quick and easy. All right, and there we go. Everything is looking a lot better on this thing. My driveway is slightly sloped, so it looks like it does have a slight rake still, but it is looking so much better than it was before. That front rake was absolutely insane. I did not like it, and now it is almost exactly level. All right, and there it is. The truck is looking a lot better than it did. It is a lot more even on either side. Fits tires a lot better, and with an alignment, it drives nice and brand new again. So with that, if you guys like the video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. I'll see you guys all next time.